Hello everybody, welcome back. We're gonna get right to it. We're not gonna waste any time because we have a lot of work to do today. I'm gonna give myself an hour and a half, I think, but we'll see. But yeah, there's a lot of work we have to do. We have to finish polishing this up, wrap up the finale of this, then finally proceed into Isaac's section. We still have about 8,000 frames left, so we could have went a little bit further, but I'm not trying to chance because, as people already know, this is already corrupted. We're gonna give this 3 watches just to make sure none of the layers got screwed up, because we do know one of the layers is actually messed up right now. And as usual, don't drink unless you're an adult. I have 11 days left here, so just bear with me. I'll be back to my normal accommodations afterwards. We were able to get some of that lore video that's coming out soon done today. I started the subtitle portion of it, which is the longest section. I'm not gonna deny it, but people have to understand what I'm saying. So I started it today. I'll be working on it little by little every single day. I'm kind of been tied up with IRL stuff because I'm working on a drift car right now. So I've been relatively busy at the shop, but I'm here. I'm giving myself at least an hour and a half to work on this. I gave myself an hour working on the other stuff. So we're pretty much free tonight. I'll work until I get tired for the most part, because it's 8:30 right now. I'm old, so I'm usually in bed by 10. In a perfect world, I wouldn't be using that aura, but I have no choice. Long story short, one of the effects that I was using got corrupted. We got rid of it, but it's, for some weird reason, certain lingering frames of it are transferring into other effects. So we have to be very, very careful what we're going to use. I might get rid of a couple frames on that. We're not going to add the camera just yet. We're going to wait till we're actually finished adding stuff in first. I'm not seeing anything. So we'll do one more rewatch instead of 3. I need to add a couple extra frames there before they get up. I did want to have Mia with the Cypher a little bit longer, but I was just being lazy. I would have to make new sprites. And the thing is, it's not that I don't mind making new sprites. I'd rather use sprites numerous times instead of using one-offs, because they're just going to stay there. So Mia for Cyphers would generally just be like a one-off. We might be doing some Aseprite work. I just haven't decided yet. I kind of want to add the camera, but I already know what's going to happen. The moment we start adding the camera, things are going to start getting like out of hand. All right. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give this about 10 extra frames just for yapping purposes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're gonna have Def show up again. We're gonna have Narit snipe it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Save. I use manual saving because auto saving is kind of bad. It's not, it's good, but it's bad at the same time. Like, it's great that it's auto saving, but well, let's just say auto saving when you're playing your movie and it decides to auto save while your movie's going up, you run the high risk of just freezing. There's been plenty of times where what we would do is doing a test watch and out of nowhere auto saving, it'll be stuck at 70%. Depending on how long your movie is and how much assets you have, ask to save, load up all that and save it, if that makes any sense. So you're better off just manual saving. Adobe Animate is a great program when it wants to behave. 9 times out of 10 is being generous. I'd say 7 out of 10 times it cooperates. There is that slight chance it just does not cooperate, which we've seen the other day, which the Mia effect layer 1 got corrupted, which is still corrupted. I just don't know where other stuff got messed up at. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna copy Def. We're gonna have him try to do a sneak attack on Mia again. We're gonna have Narit snipe it, but this time we're gonna have her do we'll have Narit do something. I haven't decided yet. It's all the way over here. Okay. It should be right here. Yeah. Nope. A little bit further. There we go. So we're gonna copy this. We'll have him try it again. Just remember, because of plot purposes, if Mia gets hit by that, she's going back into that other plane of existence, which we don't want that. Give this extra frames. We'll have it show up right there. Flip it, transform, horizontal. We're gonna get rid of this tween. So we're gonna go over tweening again. So we have point A, which Def is right there. We're gonna have him show up right here. This is gonna be its point B position. So we're gonna go over here, right click, insert keyframe. We're gonna move him all the way right there, right a little bit above Mia. So we have position A and position B. That's where he's gonna be at. It looks stupid like this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a tween. So just to explain tweening and classic easing. Classic easing is similar to how Sonic the Hedgehog moves in Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles. He moves from left to right in a pretty straightforward motion. I personally use ease in and out, but I would say 9 times out of 10 I'd use ease in and out. But we'll probably might just use the classic ease here. Pretty much we want a straight motion from left to right. So this is why we're going to do a tween into an ease. So right click anywhere in between point A and point B, create classic tween. So it automatically goes to a classic ease as such. So it looks a little bit better. I use ease in and out because it looks a little bit more natural. But since it's just an after image, we're not going to do that. I think it's pretty straightforward enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Narit snipe it from off screen again. Save it. Cherish your liver, chat. Cherish your liver, VOD crew. I'm so used to saying chat with Twitch. I don't do Twitch no more, but it's like second nature to saying chat. And there we go. All right, now the fun part. wonder. Well, there's the first square. There's probably gonna be a few more squares. Fan. Thought so. Don't mind that. I'm just going through my effects, don't mind me. As I mentioned before, unfortunately, I'm kind of limited to my old school Newgrounds effects, which kind of sucks. All right, we're gonna take a chance. We're gonna load up one of Kai's effects, and we're gonna try to see if we're lucky and it won't glitch out on us. Let's cross our fingers. Let's load up combat. Maybe we'll get lucky. Come on. This might take a second, so let's go to Aseprite. Not because I want to. Definitely not because I want to. But this is probably gonna take a few minutes. Yep, this is gonna take a few minutes. Okay. Fuck? Interesting. What the fuck? Seems like Aseprite is glitching. It is. By the time Lizzo's up, combat should be up. But we're gonna need to load it up anyway, so there we go. Alright. So, we're gonna be working on Karas. Well, unknown. So, last time we did her front. Now we have to do her side. So we have to use Jenna as a base. Battle? No, it's the overworld. We'll do right. This should be not easy. Well, who am I kidding? This is gonna be kind of hard. Okay. We don't have to do much in regards to coloring. We just gotta figure out stuff with the cloak. All right, later on I gotta change that. Antagonist, unknown. Karis jump scare about to come up. Okay. Did that not load up yet? You did. Okay. We'll go to that later. Let's focus on this first, because I'm already committed on this. I can honestly just make this into a whole entire boot. No, we'll keep this consistent. Okay. So this looks so weird, but we can get this to work. Actually, ow! Oh no, actually, I'm a dumbass. Wait, what? Sure. I am bugging right now. Okay, here we are. It's gonna be a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, because when it comes to swag souls, this last has it covered. So I'd probably just have to make her boots. No, I know exactly what to do. I still can't believe we actually pulled off having bow and arrows. We'll just have to make this a little bit darker. It's not not the end of the world. That's fine. So now that's fine. I'm fine with that. It's not gonna be perfect. Like, we're not aiming to be pristine. I'm fine with that. To be honest, I knew it's gonna look scuffed because cloaks. No one wears a cloak here besides NPCs, but I'm already using a cloak for something else. So it's good. Nice. It's not gonna look the best, but I'm not gonna be crying over spilled milk about it. It's all good. It's been 30 minutes already. Holy shit! It's actually been 30 minutes. Fuck it. To Sanic we go. I guess not. I'm gonna have to make Heart a overworld sprite. Oh my god, that's gonna be weird. We'll cross that bridge when we cross that bridge. We are not crossing that bridge anytime soon. With Aseprite, you need to make a day of it. Like, you can't go in and try to speedrun it. You really have to make time for it. Alright, we'll go back to Adobe Animate now. Okay. Let's cross our fingers, people. No, wait, no, don't tell me this was here the entire time. Damn, I'm so salty now. That would have actually helped. Here's why I'm salty. Let's take a little 2-minute break. Over your ears. This is why I'm salty. Because I had access to arrows. I just didn't look. Pay attention to what Karis does in the other video. I'm actually so salty about that. Unfortunately, I can't skip it, or else it's gonna freeze. So just bear with me for 2 minutes. I'll go off screen for a sec. Now that I think about it, when it comes to writing, it sounds good in my head, but whenever I have to type it out, it just sounds terrible. So pay attention to when unknown / Karis shoots heart. It would have been so much better if I had an actual arrow effect, but my silly self didn't check, so I had to make one. The mugshot was fun. I'm not gonna deny it. We had to do some funky redrawings on that. All right, it's about to show up. Also, the voice I used for Karis is not the voice I'm gonna be using for her. That was just it was a gag my friends wanted me to put in. I'm actually so salty. I had actual arrows instead of actually making. I made a fake one using an effect. I'm so salty now. Oh my god, so bad now. Cover your ears. I'm so mad. Alright, that's enough of that. Damn. Oh well, at least now I don't have I have arrow effects throughout this massive 20 gigs of effects that I have accumulated over the years. Alright, it's enough salt. I need I actually had explosions. I might get rid of flash bar. No, I think having flash spark there is fine. All right, we'll deal with this later. I need to actually focus on this. Wait a minute. I have an idea. I just hope it works. No, we can't do that. Not yet. No, it's not these. Could it be? Do I have it here? I do not have it here. I do have it here. Okay, all right. At least I... Wait, no. This is corrupted still. Fuck. All right. Let's see. Okay. Right there. Cross our fingers. Let's get rid of this. Wait, no. Let's do what we need to do first. I'm pasting that in there. This was called Wind Lines. This would have to go below this. We'll put it on transitions for now. We're gonna turn this into a graphic and see if... Oh, it's already a graphic. Amazingly enough. Please don't show up. Oh, all right. Wait, nope. Yeah, we're good. We can use this. Okay, let's turn this into an ad. Oh, thank God. No? We'll do it screen first. Save it, and let's see how this looks. I jumped the gun. I'm a dumbass. Yeah. So chat. Always make sure if you're gonna be adding a graphic or a symbol, make sure you insert a blank keyframe for when you want that specific effect to end, or else it's gonna be playing indefinitely. I'm a dumbass, so I'm gonna fix that real quick. Don't jump the gun. Okay, so where does it end? Yeah, I really jumped the gun on this one. Should be done right. So where'd I have to copy this again, actually? I really jumped the gun. I got too excited. I'm excited because I can actually use an effect I actually was looking for. Because, again, this project is kind of corrupted at the moment. Give me a second. I forgot this loop's kind of fucked up. Ooh. Pling, pling, plong. Alright, blank keyframe right here. Insert keyframe, and paste this right here. We can have this actually end right here. Okay. Perfect. All right. All right. These 2 weeks are gonna go by so fast. It's already 11 days. Then I have to go back to my duty station for August, September, October, November, December for 5 more months. Then I come back. Ugh. Military life is something. I have to extend it a little tiny bit to the top. This is good. And this is, remember, this is to simulate that they're falling downwards. Minardi can fly. Mia can't fly. But as you can see right here, I have to extend it a little bit higher. Perfect. Wait, that means I shouldn't jump the gun just yet. That means I might get away with getting an effect. I'll see if I can do anything about this. Again, that's so scary. Yep, perfect. Okay. So what was I gonna do here? Oh yeah. I should be fine. No, this has to be there. There we go. That's perfect. All right. Oh, we're gonna do this into base real quick. Are we gonna do base? No, 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 no. Ah, why not? Let's go. Okay. So now that should be fine. We're gonna go back to combat. But what more can I get away with? Hmm. You know, because that's Don't mind me. I was just curious about that. Okay. I'm thinking. All right, let's cross our fingers. We're gonna try to see if we can get away with. Let's not go to elemental just yet. Let's try using an effect from priest. So we don't use that. FLA, we'll go to priest. Or maybe even enhancers. That's that Mary Lou's level of pink. But why hot pink? Oh. Wait. But why this pink though? Ah, damn it. Okay. We really need to do this. Unfortunately, this is not what I needed, but it's fine. It's fine. Priest is not it, and hot pink is not it. Let's go to enhancers. Have entire massive pack list. So if it seems like I'm yapping out of my ass, it's no, I'm just literally just going over the folders that I have. Oh, this is DFO. But when it comes to ice, I got plenty of ice here. But we don't need that right now. I need to look for something specific. I would say when it comes to sprite animation, oh my god. I would say when it comes to sprite animation, this is the hardest part, actually finding effects. But it's not here. No. Okay, it's not under enhancers. Maybe mage. Come on, mage. Don't make me go to a Aseprite. I will. I don't want to, but I will. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Damn. To Aseprite we go. Okay. We'll wait till that loads up. Okay. Who do we want to work on today? Again, it's not that I don't want to work on the Aseprite stuff. It's just you have to be in the right mindset. There's a lot of experimentation when it comes to this. Okay. So Zuki. So what do we have? We have this is attack wind up, and it goes into that type of slash with a glaive. Okay, that's fine. How about we do throwing it, would it make sense? Wait, no, I have an idea. How about we do this? Because here, I need training stage. Wait, no, we don't need training stage just yet. Because her primary weapon's gonna be a glaive, but what if we do this? She can fight with her sword, but she can extend it with another one to make a glaive, which is that. So, depending on the situation, she might fight short range with her sword or fight long range with a glaive. Okay, let's go. Let's cook. All right, we aren't dumbasses. So I need to make you a damage sprite with your sword, which is relatively easy. We just got to delete this. So we have 2 stances. Damn, this character can be very complex. So now I just really kind of fucked it up for me. All right, simple enough. Copy, paste. And remember, these guys are going to be a full Isaac's party from Golden Sun, well, Golden Sun, from the end of Mercury, from Mercury Lighthouse all the way into the end of Golden Sun 2. That's actually fine. So, Azuki's sword damaged. My dog is right next to me. His cage is like literally the other side of this like room, so he's making noise. I was just trying to pay attention. We'll call this sword damage. Because her normal stance with her normal stance for a glaive is gonna be like this. And her normal stance with her sword is gonna be like this. Yeah, she's gonna be most definitely cooking. Okay. Thank God. All right. Okay, Aseprite. We're done for now. I guess not. Okay. Honestly, this would be so cool, but if it was fire. I'm trying to get a specific effect, so don't mind me. Oh, we can do some funny shit here. Let's grab this first. No, let's not grab that first. We'll hold off on that for now. Wait a minute. Okay. Oh, there's so much I want to do now. Oh man. All right. Let's focus on one thing at a time. I need to find what I'm looking for. No. Nope. We can have you shoot a. Yeah, that's fine. Just a random ass water boom. Okay, we're gonna have to do a weird combination. So we can use. Okay, we'll do two. Let's move you right here. A big massive boom. Okay. Let's see how this looks. What do I want to listen to now? There's loads of stuff I can listen to. Fuck it. We're gonna break through it all. How long have I been streaming this? 53 minutes. 54 minutes, actually. I'm just waiting for the movie to load up, then we can do some more stuff. It's 9:30. Top of the hour, I'll be done. That is depending. I'm so tempted to add a camera, but I don't want to do it because I know what's going to happen. Part of me wishes, now that sorry, I'm distracted by the weeb stuff. I could have brought it to my barracks room, but it'd be so awkward during room inspections. Even though the U.S. Army is quite literally one of the weebiest military organizations. Like, I was shocked when I went down, when I when I initially enlisted all those years ago. I'm like, damn, y'all are fucking weebs. Ah, it's not a son of a bitch. Excuse my French. It's not good enough. We need a massive oomph. That's fine. Okay. I'm being a dumbass. Shit. And also they're getting up too fast. I need to grab this. I need to do a lot of things. That won't work, but that would have been great to work. All right, you're just gonna do another slash. Excuse me. All right, so we can do. Okay, there we go. Simple enough. All right, let's grab snow so we can have these guys actually landing on snow. Oh hey, what's up? What's going on? I'm on leave right now, so this is why I'm here. I'm in the old Twitch setup. And I'm actually on 2 monitors, so we're currently working on this. I'll show the movie off real quick. We're going into a little extra overtime, but we're cooking right now. What's up, dude? And as usual, something gets messed up because the current project is currently corrupted. But we're doing stuff. This fight is gonna be finally over soon. Then we can transition over to Isaac's section, and we can finally go over and finally end Mercury Lighthouse. But for the most part, everything's looking really good. It's just certain effects. Just certain effects I have to be very careful with. And I finally got FLA. Finally got FLA editor work, so things got done that needed to get done. Let's see. All right, that's enough Sonic. We'll go to Dark Dawn. But definitely being able to have these wind effects helps so much now. Because they're supposed to be falling downwards from Mercury Lighthouse. Minardi's levitating down, Mia's falling, she's actually falling. So now Minardi's using fire. But she can't use her occult gimmick no more. This email that I made could have been a lot better, but it's cool. Also, jump scare, because how's Mia right here when she's over there? Okay, that's fine. And we just had Def getting sniped again. So for the most part, everything's looking good. This could have been a little bit better, so we're gonna probably add another effect on top of this. It just depends. It really just depends on what we want to do. I'm very limited on what I can and cannot do. So I actually ended up making Minardi do kicks too. It's just Minardi's a lot harder to do kicks with, which I'll show off in a second. Also, if I can find this. Karis jump scare. Okay. Let's see. So we're gonna go to Minardi real quick. Having Minardi do a kick is actually so weird, but give me a minute. It's so weird. So I had her arms crossed and her kicking. I just gotta make it a little bit smaller. It's her dress that always... It's such a pain in the ass. But due to what's happening, I don't know if I can actually implement it. Because what I was going to do, we'll minimize this real quick. What I was going to do is have Mia dash up, Minardi kick the living daylights out of her, and transition into Mercury Lighthouse proper. We were going to have the fight go everywhere, but we're so limited now on what we can and cannot do. And I don't know. We'll see. So far, there hasn't been any crazy issues with the effects, but I shouldn't play with fire. Let's see. So Def got sniped again. We can have them both stand up again. I mean, we could try it. So we're gonna have them both recover. You know what? Let's do this. We'll have them both stand up and both fall down again. Like they're actually just hurt really badly. Let me explain the gimmick. So while I was coming back, here's what I thought I was gonna do. So here's Minardi is obviously stronger than Mia. Makes sense. She's weakened because of story purposes. Jenna left her near death with that attack that she did to her. She's been gradually healing. Sure, makes sense. But her healing is equivalent to how we walk around and gain synergy, like 1 point at a time. So it's not a great heal. It's just a gradual heal over and over and over again. With Mia, because she's in the vicinity of Mercury Lighthouse, she always regains synergy. So it's kind of a weird situation where they're technically kind of evenly matched. They're both hurt. Mia's been healed up. Minardi's kind of hurt a little bit, but she kind of should have the upper hand. But her scythe was kind of the deciding factor because her scythe, the way I'm going with this is it's going to be a medium to her occult abilities. She doesn't have her scythe no more. Mia threw it away. She can't summon it back because Mia froze it. So she's reduced to using her fire adept stuff. Cool. But here's the problem. Since she's unarmed now and Mia has a sword, it's like, yeah, Minardi has lost the vital part of her kit. So she can't defend herself because, Mia has a sword. And like I mentioned before, Jenna's sword should be hurting her because it's cursed, but Mia's kind of like, she's freezing her pain receptors in her body. So she's like, I'm not feeling any pain until later. So it makes sense on paper to me. It makes sense. But when it comes to like a fighting perspective, Mia would have the advantage because she actually has a weapon. Minardi can't heal besides her gradual healing. Mia's fine because Ply, if I remember correctly, Ply heals about 100 points of HP, something like that. It's been a bit, but we'll just go with that. Ply heals a lot of HP. So they should be neck and neck, but eventually Minardi's not going to be able to keep up with Mia because she's only healing so much. Minardi doesn't have healing in her kit like Karst. Karst has He-Kiss? Yeah, Karst has He-Kiss. Minardi does not heal. So eventually, she's just gonna be weared down. So we'll come up with a plot purpose why Mia threw away Jenna's sword. I have an idea why. I just haven't put it in paper yet. She didn't want to use Jenna's weapon to come in for the kill. It makes sense, I guess. But technically, Mia has the advantage right now because Minardi her gradual healing is not going to be enough to heal all the damage that she's taking. So what we're going to do is we're going to have them both stand up and just both go down again. Then we're going to finally transition into Isaac's section. What I'm going to do is Satoros is going to show up. All right. That is true. That is actually true. It's too much of a drawback, especially since she got healed. I can use it, but I'm still gonna get damaged because of this thing. Because as we know, I think it's you can use a cursed weapon for a couple turns and you get stunned. I think it's at least 3 turns, if I remember correctly. That too. All right, hold on. Okay, let's copy this. But it's true. That is very true. We can do that. All right, so right here, we'll have Mia stand up. And we'll have them both fall down again. You know what? I'll let you decide. Because Satoros is coming into the fray. How should Satoros come in? What I initially was going to do is Mia was going to attack and Satoros will intercept one of Mia's attacks. What do you think? That was the initial plan. All right. All right, minority copy. Pretty much the ending of this, the ending of Mercury Lighthouse is going to be Isaac and Satoros via 1v1. Yeah. That's what I was going to... All right. The thing is, the way I'm gonna have it is Satoros is watching the fight. He's just not gonna intervene right now. I can see Satoros being that type of character who just sits around and watch the fair 1v1 fight, and it'll only show up when something dire happens. That's the type of character I picture Satoros as. So, wait, what? Fuck. Ah, damn it. So that's what we can do. So the ending of Mercury Lighthouse, it will be Isaac and Satoros 1v1. Where's Minardi's lair? That's what I was going to do. Yeah, good. Yeah, we can do that. Why can I not get Minardi Sprite in? Alright, hold on. Okay, here's Minardi's Sprite. Where to copy this? Alright. Yeah, I can picture that too. Whoops. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna flip Minardi horizontal. Let's not do that. Insert blank keyframe here. Hold on. Something got screwed up here. Oh. I kind of goofed because I put Minardi in Minardi clone. Damn, I'm kind of committed already. Always make sure you put everything in the right layer. There we go. Let's just make sure everything's good. There we go. All right, we'll just go with that. So, because the way I was going with it is Minardi's, what the fuck? Wow, there we go. The way I was gonna go with this was Minardi's scythe would be like a family heirloom. So her losing it kind of is it's really bad. Yeah, we can go with that. It's kind of like how I'm pretty sure in Vault the thieves stole they stole an urn from the mayor's house, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they stole an urn from the mayor's house. So we can say that her scythe is like a very important item to their clan. Yeah, we can go with that. Yeah, we can go with that. I can actually see her getting really upset that her scythe was just thrown away. Besides, being totally neutered. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna copy this. We're gonna have them both fall again, because it's no. Let's have Minardi be the one gonna fall. No. We still have plenty of frames left. So, yeah. Alright, so we still have... Let's watch the movie one more time. because I still technically have 7,000. I still have 5,000 frames. So what's going on with the project right now is it's kind of corrupted because a layer, an effect got screwed up. So we'll use this as an example. So right now, yeah, you were here last time this got screwed up. So where's that effect at? Right there. So as soon as an effect hits, a certain portion of another effect would come in. So right now, the project is really like neutered when it comes to using certain effects. So we can't really use our usual stuff. So I'm kind of like improvising as we go, unfortunately. So we have like at least 8,000 frames left. We can do one more last huzzah. It's unfortunate. All right, so let's watch the movie one more time and we'll see what we can do. So they're both hurt really, really bad. We can do like another, have them do like a desperation attack. But if you really think about it, Mia had the advantage. She just threw away that advantage. But again, this is all, nothing's ever set in stone. We can always add things as we can go. Because this technically takes place after she meets Isaac, Garrett, and Ivan. So all three of them are coming back down to the base of Mercury House regardless. Because what I'm gonna go with is they finish with their fight. Satoros gets in the fray. Isaac makes the save. We can have Isaac and Satoros have one last. We can have them have a legitimate 1v1. What I was going to do. Jenna's floating in the ocean somewhere. Spoilers, yes, that's what we're gonna do. As Isaac and Garrett are Isaac and Satoros are fighting, we're gonna do a scene to Jenna in the middle of the ocean, doing her monologues. Yeah, I have an idea. So Jenna's gonna be doing her monologue. We'll see. You do? Oh shit. My headset just fell down. There's a lot of things I can go with this. But to be honest, we can assume that Satoru and Minardi did have a ship. Where I'm gonna have Jenna placed is I need the world map. I don't have the world map up right now. We can have Jenna floating around the mountain ranges near Emil. We can say Satoru and Minardi parked their ship right there. Just for funsies, we can say that in actual lore, they parked their... Damn! That makes no sense. All right, I gotta pause Dark Dawn music. We need to have a quick powwow. Let's talk plot holes. Okay, we gotta talk plot holes real quick. This is actually about to end. So, deranged. Yeah, you gotta do it. All right, let's talk real quick. So we can assume because Prox is all the way up there in the Western Sea, all the way up north. They would have to have a ship in order to come all the way down to where Vale is. Makes a lot of sense, right? What happened to that ship? We don't know what happened to the ship. The smart thing would be, instead of traversing all around Weyard, which they did, they could have sailed around. I need the world map. It's fine. Yeah, we need the world map up. We're not gonna get the world map up because I'm kind of intoxicated right now. Yeah, because damn, I really need the world map up. All right, I'm not gonna bring it up. So one could assume that they sailed through between Gondwan and whatever is right wherever the other mass is. It's been a little bit since I played Golden Sun 2. So I'm pretty sure they sailed right between the strait and parked their ship somewhere close to. I'm bringing up the map. I have to bring up the map because I'm just yapping too much. Give me a second. We gotta talk actual lore here. So Golden Sun map. Because I'm gonna fix this plot hole. Alright, Golden Sun map. Alright, we're gonna bring this up in Aseprite. Alright, save it. We'll bring it up in Aseprite. We'll listen to Golden Sun music while we yap. Actually, I had the perfect one. Alright. Yeah, it's where Golden Sun 2 takes place at. It's that main island. It's that main continent, but I'll bring us up Aseprite and we'll talk about it. Alright. Where is it? I actually just downloaded this. All right, there we go. Okay, damn. All right, we could assume that we'll say Prox is up here somewhere, right? Here's Hesperia. We could say they probably sailed around Gondwan. They sailed around Gondwan, came up here. I need the actual Golden Sun 2 map. Yeah, we need Golden Sun 2 map. That gigantic map. All right, perfect. I have to find out where that demonic realm's gonna be at too. I have an idea where I want to put it. I just haven't thought of it yet. Like actually put it like set in stone. Okay, here's Golden Sun 2's map. Okay, so his Prox is all the way up here, all the way right there. We can assume that they sailed probably. They would have to sail all the way around because we can't do the skip the going to Angara map right here. Like we can't do that. Like we're gonna assume that they went all the way. Damn, they probably went all the way around. All the way around. They stopped by Vale. So one can assume Vale's right here somewhere. They probably stopped. They would have to stop right here probably, or even it's not a lot of shores. We can assume they stopped around this general area. They stopped right here. Here's Emil would be around this general area. Emil's right there. Yeah, so Emil's right here. So what we can do is say Jenna is right here somewhere. She's gonna be floating right here. I would say that they probably parked their ship. Hold on. Yeah, because here. Yeah, they probably parked their ship right here. We'll just say that. So what I'm gonna do, we'll just X marks the spot. We'll just say that. We'll say their ship is right here. Yeah, because if you really think about it, I could see Jenna finding the scythe and just holding it like a life raft. She can't swim. Just damn, if you really think about it, they would have to sail all the way around. Yeah, that's wild. If you really think about it. They'd have to sail all around here. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that. That was a thought. We can do that. This right here would be the most logical thing for them to do. We can do that. Yeah, but that's the thing. Canals. Let's see. It's not the best map, but I can assume so right here, they'd take this canal right here. They take this canal. They could probably moor their ship right here and just walk all the way up to Vale. That would be the most logical thing. That's what I was assuming happened before the bridges got taken out. So we can assume that's what happened. But here's the problem. So they must have lost. Yeah. Because here's my thing. Their journey would have been a lot simpler if they took a ship. But we can assume they were always ahead of Isaac's party. Because they left here, they stopped by Vault, because there's NPCs that say there's a group that came here in a hurry. They went right into Mercury Lighthouse, so they went directly to Mercury Lighthouse. So we can say right here off of Goma Cave is the crossroads. Isaac went this way. Satoros and Minardi went this way. They both converged right there. Satoros and Minardi and everybody else went towards Venus Lighthouse. So they walked. But that's the problem. They have a ship. So what happened to the ship? Because think about it. If you're, let's just say you're moored right here. This is where you're moored. You can take the ship all the way around, and hell, if you really want to be cute about it, you can park it near. You can actually just go right here. You're good to go. Here's Venus Lighthouse proper, right there. Then again, they needed Sheba. But what are the odds of them finding Sheba? All right, let's see it. Yeah, because we can assume because of... Yeah, because, this. All of this. All the reefs. We'll call this reefs. So, if they really want to be... the only way they could possibly even get closer to Mercury Lighthouse would be this direction. I'm pretty sure there's a beach around here somewhere. Is there a beach around there? This is not a good map. It's really not a good map. It's kind of cut off. So let me bring up the goal. I'm gonna bring up the Goals on One map again real quick. I love brainstorming like this. I love fixing plot holes. Golden Sun map. I need an actual map. I think this is actually this is the GBA map. Oh my god, it actually is the GBA map. That's kind of wild. Okay, screw it. This is actually the most accurate version of the Golden Sun 1 map I've ever seen. What if the wings of Anemos in devices like it were a fairly common thing in the ancient times? In other words, what if they had a flying bull / ground effect? Yeah, that would make perfect sense. We can actually roll with that, to be honest. Okay, so let's do this. Let's delete this. It is probably the most accurate map I've ever seen. So I love the fact how Hesperia was so close and it ends up being yay far away. So Hesperia, this is, wait, what is this? Wait, yeah, that's, no, Hesperia and, what was this called again? I can't remember what this was called. But it had no towns. besides a couple of towns. All right, that's all right. Besides that, so we can assume that. All right, let's see. Because we're gonna figure this out right now before I wrap this up. Here, they could have sailed here. I should not be blanking out on that. Oh my god, I should not be bringing out on that. God. I am actually blanking out. Holy shit. Atika? Atika. There we go. Atika. Damn, that's embarrassing. Atika. All right. Hesperia, Atika. Atika has like 5 towns. 2 towns. So they came here, went around. We can assume that this canal here would probably be the best bet. They took this canal and probably parked. I feel dumb. I do. So that's here's Calais. So we can assume that they at least moored near Calais. Right there. Fine. Then they walk all the way over here. Hell, we could even say, yeah, we could even say they moored. Yeah, they could have just went right here and just moored at this area near the docks. Fine. So they took the journey up to Vale. Fine. Vale happens. Then they go. Then they, for gameplay purposes, we forget. For plot purposes, they forget they have a ship. For some odd reason. So they traverse all of Weyard. Right here, Isaac goes this way. Sartorius and Minardi go this way. After Mercury. Honestly, the smartest thing for them to do after Mercury Lighthouse is just go back, go through Goma Cave, go back to their ship, take the ship, get out of here. Here's a canal right here at Venus. Well, no, Bobby Lighthouse. Park at Bobby Lighthouse. But they needed a wind depth. But how would they know they needed a wind depth? No, how would they know Sheba would be there? That's the thing. Like, I get their plan. Their plan on paper makes sense. But there's a lot of like circumstances and coincidences for this to work. Like, it's actually, holy crap, yeah, like that's a lot of crazy stuff that went in their favor. Because Bobby kidnapped Sheba to use as ransom for Laverio to build Bobby Lighthouse, which they were totally, even though Sheba was kidnapped, they were totally up for her. They were totally down for building that lighthouse, even though Sheba was kind of kidnapped. Yeah. There's a lot of crazy coincidences that went in their favor throughout this whole entire journey. A lot of crazy coincidences. Because the logical thing is, like I said, why go through all of this? Because, again, for lore purposes, we know that they were always one step ahead of Isaac. We just don't know what happened in this general area. Yeah, that's what it is. This is why there's a lot of plot holes. This is my job to fix these plot holes. Because damn, besides Isaac's party, besides Isaac being naive, because we're gonna be talk about how naive Isaac is, because Isaac he does a lot of things that he probably shouldn't be doing. So, but besides all that, it's like Sartorius and Minardi just, and on my honest opinion, they got away with highway robbery. If you really want to be cute about it. Because from Mercury Lighthouse all the way here, everything went in their favor getting to Mercury Lighthouse. Like, even the finding Sheba, taking Sheba from the guards in the town right here. I can't remember what the town's called. I should not forget. Sahala. Wow, that's bad. Even them can getting Sheba from the guards, going all the way here, somehow, some way. All right, we can agree that Venus Lighthouse was completely and utterly gimmicky. We all know it was a gimmick. Because technically, Venus Lighthouse starts right here and ends up back all the way over here. I don't know how in the world that works, but it works. I'm still trying to figure that out, even years later, because how does that make sense? Because you take the... all right, fine. You take the underground paths, you go all the way down, you start at Bobby Lighthouse, take the underground paths, make it all the way to Venus Lighthouse somehow. Sure, with underground passages to exist, fine. But you're telling me, like, this bottom portion of Venus Lighthouse is not accessible because of a gimmick. We can assume that where everybody enters is in the middle half of Venus Lighthouse. Structurally, that makes absolutely no sense. I kid you not, that makes no sense. But it's a game, but it still makes no sense. And I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna get that to work later on. But this, from here to here, underground passage, fine, cool. But assuming that Venus Lighthouse 2 starts right there, no sense. Because if we would say there was like a bridge connecting these two right here, sure, fine. But no. All right. But anyways, we kind of got... I love talking about stuff like this. I do. But again, will we agree that a lot of coincidences went in their favor? Because we don't know how Satoros and Minardi got here. How? Going off of... I can't use real world logic. Oh, damn. Music stopped. There's no more determination. All right. Besides that. Okay, because I'm kind of intoxicated, so I gotta actually think about this right now. So, I don't know how Satoros and Minardi got through here. Makes no sense. Because they weren't... It makes no sense. All this makes absolutely no sense. Because we need to figure this out for lore purposes, because Mercury Lighthouse is about to end it's gonna end in this latest episode. Spoilers, from here all the way here, Isaac's gonna be tied up for a while dealing with Sarah. Sarah's party is gonna be a major thorn in Isaac's side, because here and Kalima are not gonna exist anymore. Let's just say that. We're going very dark. We're gonna be... Lady McCoy paid their organization to burn this down. Because it's bad for Converse. It's bad for money. So things are gonna get burned down. So the thing definitely gonna happen. So Isaac's party is gonna be completely and utterly tied up in this direction for a long time. So Satoros and Minardi getting a big major head start on them makes sense here. We can assume that Satoros and Minardi did not stop at all in these areas. The gimmick forest, they had to go through the gimmick forest. This is where a ship has to come into play here. Because I can assume... No, they had a ship. They had a ship. Because the ship is moored in Iwo Jima. The ship is moored right here. They were selectively using the ship. No, that's not the island. I'm just saying this is the island. Yes, they were using the ship. Where is it? So they definitely were using the ship, but they were just being very selective with the ship. Because... Okay. We can say they took... Alright. We're gonna safely assume after Mercury Lighthouse, Satoru Similarity went all the way over here, not in the forest. There has to be a beach right here. There is a beach right there. Is there a beach right there? Yes. No. Wait. Yes, there's a... We'll just say there's a beach right here. There's a beach right there. Yeah, because I can't imagine them... This would make more sense why Satoru and Similarity were always one step ahead of Isaac. Isaac had to walk. You walk in Isaac. So we can say that Satoru Similarity probably had a ship moored right there. Then they took said ship, went around, and yes, it's actually making a lot more sense. They stopped right there. They docked in front of Bobby Lighthouse. No. They would have to have docked right here because... Yeah, they would have to have docked right there. Shiba, right here. They got Shiba right there. Yeah. We're figuring this, we're breaking this down. This is big major plot holes we're fixing. So, they probably parked right here. No, they would have... Damn! And again, this makes even less sense because here's the island. You can say this mass is the island. The island is connected right here. Right here. It'd make no sense for them, because the ship is parked right there. We know the ship is parked right there. Ship. Parked right there. They took the they would have to take the tunnels. That means they would have to go back through the desert to get Shiba, which they don't even know Shiba's even there when they can just go right here. So they probably went to Venus Lighthouse. Noticed that Venus Lighthouse was not accessible right here, and walked aimlessly to this location, and on coincidence found a Jupiter adept. Coincidences! Holy crap! This is like, it's just coincidence after coincidence with these guys. That's what makes logical sense here. It makes sense. Because this is what happened with Isaac's party. Because Isaac's party they couldn't do Jupiter Lighthouse. Because they didn't have the gimmick for Jupiter Lighthouse at all. So Satoru Similarity getting over here, we can assume that, going off of IRL logic here, this probably took fall. Am I gonna do this? I was about to do some army land navigation real quick. I will honestly make this into a grid square. I will figure out how long it would take them to actually traverse from here to here. I can do that. I would have to actually take my time to do that though. So I can assume this journey, going by IRL logic, will take possibly a month. Because in this whole journey took a long time. It probably took, going off of actual gaming, probably took days. But traversing from here, I can do that. I can actually do that. I can do that. All right, let's do. We'll do fake grid squares real quick. I can do land navigation. Yeah, I can actually do this. All right. Grid square, grid square, grid square, grid square. These are not drawn to scale. This is just extremely rough. My job is Cap Scout, so I have to do this. I just don't have the mills. Okay. Let's see. So if we broke down Angara's map as this. I gotta think here. Actually, we're gonna do something here. Give me 1 second. I'm technically cheating here. Give me like a minute. So while this finishes loading up, we can actually talk about this. Because we can assume that Golden Sun's story probably took half a year at best. Because going off their ages, 30 years have passed. So everybody besides Felix would have been 47 years old. So it's safe to assume that a whole entire year didn't pass. I would say, walking wise, Veil to Vault would probably take a day at best. I think it'd probably take a day at best. Give me a second. I'm thinking about this. So a day. This would take a day at best. Okay. Okay. I cheated. I technically cheated here. So don't mind me. We cheated. Y'all didn't see anything. Shh. I won't say anything if you don't say anything. We're gonna exit out of this. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna put this in downloads. Y'all about to see some crazy stuff that's gonna make absolutely no sense in a moment if I could actually get this. Okay. Here you go. Here's Angara. Here's Golden Sun 1 in grid squares. Okay. Alright. So let's work this out. I can't believe I just did this. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna be doing some math real quick, so don't mind me. I don't have my army tools here, so do some calculations. Okay. I'm gonna put in the chat some math. All right, here we go. You're about to see some shit. It's the only time you're ever gonna see this on stream. All right. So here's some calculations. We're gonna calculate how long it takes to go from veil to vault from a realistic point of view. Okay. All right. Gosh, damn it. I gotta sign in? Fuck. Alright, give me a second while I sign in. The fuck? All right. Okay, here we go. What the fuck? Apparently this is not one don't let me sign in. Give me one moment. But we're gonna do some math on stream so you guys can actually see how long it'll take to get from veil to vault. We're gonna try to do all of this. Okay. Yes. This is me. I can already tell you from veil to vault, it's probably gonna be at least a 30-minute walk. Just going off the calculations. Just stand by for a second. This is actually I think this is actually this is probably gonna be a 35-minute walk at best. All right. Okay, we're not gonna be able to do it because it's not letting me sign into chat. So I'll just go over the calculations off the top of my head. So we can assume from veil. Here's veil right here. We're gonna zoom in on it. Number one, veil's number one. Okay. I would say veil. In the grid square, it seems like veil is about at least 5 to 6% the size from north to south. Okay. Okay. All right. So we can try to agree that Angara 40 kilometers or hold on. I'm gonna have to do some more math here. Give me a second, guys. VOD, the people that watch these VODs, y'all want them for a treat today. Okay. So going off the grid square from veil to vault, it looks like it's around at least 40 kilometers. So multiply that by 0.55 is 2.2 kilometers. So from Vale to Vault is probably at least 3 kilometers. All right, so we'll divide that. So we're gonna divide distance by speed. So I'm doing it on my phone. Give me a second. So, all right. So if I'm rucking, for us rucking, when we're doing our ruck marches, we're at least walking at least 4 kilometers. If I'm wearing like the whole entire kit with my rucksack, at least 50 pounds, probably 3.5 kilometers. So if it's a civilian just walking with no equipment, I would say it varies. So somebody can walk 5 kilometers in like 24 minutes. If you really want to be cute about it, 2.5 and 30 and 3 kilometers in 36 minutes. That's just you walking 5 kilometers. So we can divide distance by speed. We're just going to do that. We're just going to do a civilian. So let's just say someone in the watching the vlog wanted to get from Vault to Vale, from Vale to Vault. So we can do this. So point A from point B. We can do 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 divided by 4. Yeah, 2.5 divided by 4. Because 2.5 would be the distance. Wearing light equipment. Yeah. 2.5 divided by... Yeah, this is gonna work. I really wish I could do this on stream, but... Yeah, I really wish I was able to actually paste it in the chat, because I'm doing math right now as we speak. Okay. Let's zoom in. We can assume, because the mountain range is like some elevation right here. Yeah, there would be some elevation from here to here. So I think since Mount Elf is right here, we'd be going down. Okay, so we gotta factor in at least 10 to 20% for the terrain. No, 25%, at least 25%. We could assume that's a mountainous range. Okay. Okay. If it was me walking with my gear, it would take me 45 minutes to walk from Vale to Vault. A normal person will probably take 30 minutes, because we're... Hold on. Let me just make sure. Because the thing is, like, the terrain from Vale to Vault, we know they're established paths, because we have Vale right there, we have Vault right there. It's mostly hills and forests rather than open plains. Since this is a mountainous range coming from Mount Elf down, so there is an elevation change. And it isn't a straight line, because there's a winding road. Because we have to go off the scale of Angara. To be honest, if I was cute about this, and again, I don't have my compass on me. I don't have my map measuring kit, so I'm actually going off the top of my head. So we can assume, if I was a betting man, I would say, going off the scale of Angara and the landmarks, I'd say there's at least 1.5 to 2.5 kilometers going by the trails. Yeah, so a normal person would probably take 30 minutes to walk, depending on the trail. Because again, the way we're calculating this is, we're assuming from Vale to Vault is about 5 to 6% of Angara's north to south length. Yeah, this is hard. Because if Vale to Angara was 30 kilometers, no, if Angara was 40 kilometers from Yay to Yay, that'd be at least 1.7 kilometers. Yeah, but we'll go with 40. Okay. Time equals distance plus speed. Okay. All right. Let's do this real quick. I'm gonna be doing some quick math real quick. Okay. Let's do Vale to Mercury Lighthouse, because Vale to Mercury Lighthouse is very, like, long. Okay, let's do this. So here's Vale. Because we're going through this grid square, this grid square, this grid square. We're going through 4 grid squares from... This is the east thing is right here. North is right here. Okay. Give me like a minute to calculate this. Because if we're gonna go by in-game progression, we'd have to do this. We would have to leave Vale. We would have to leave Vale, travel to Vault, travel all the way to Goma Cave, and go all the way around this way, and go to whatever this cave is called. I can't remember off the top of my head. This is actually really hard. This is hard because we are putting ourselves in a position where we don't have established like map marketing. So this is actually really hard to do. But I can do this. Okay. So here's what we can do. We'll pretend that we're right here. When we won't take the trail, the normal in-game trail. Let's just say we're experienced hikers. We're gonna go from here to here. Satoru and Minardi are nefarious. They're gonna take the long way around. We want to beat them. So if we're gonna take this trail, here's what we're gonna do. Because this would be the easiest pathway. So, I'm thinking here. So we can leave Vale, we travel north. We don't even need to enter the cave at all. We can just travel. All right, we'll just say we'll travel north all the way here. We'll descend down, enter the cave, go through the cave. Yeah, leave Vale, travel north, enter the cave, ascend through the cave. We'll exit through the plateau and reach Mercury Lighthouse. Okay, so we're gonna go from here. We'll descend down, go through the cave, and traverse all the way over here. That would be the most optimal way to travel to Mercury Lighthouse. If we're not going by obviously we're not going by actual gaming because we can't actually do this, but we're just using a more realistic perspective of this. All right, so let me do some math on my end. Okay. So following a trail instead of a straight line, we could say 35, at least 35% of the total distance. That's just a rough estimate. All right. If I was a betting man, I think this is where it's kind of hard. I would say this could probably be, even if we did this could probably be at least 2.5 kilometers, at least. I'm just doing the scenic route, but if we wanted to make this simpler, we could just do this. We'll leave Vale, we climb up, scale down. We'll say that's at least a mile. We scale up. From here to here, we could say like probably at least a mile and a half. Okay. Mile and a half. From here to here, it's pretty straightforward. We'll just say mile and a half. We don't really need to do the kilometers, but we could say from here to here. From here to here, we could say probably. Going off of this, I think I'd probably even say that's longer. So I put at least 3 kilometers, maybe 4. Then the exit to the lighthouse would be. We don't know how long the lighthouse. We don't know how long you'd be going through the actual cave, but we will just say probably. Judging by the art we see in game cutscene, Mount Elf is more of a point than a massive range, so the elevation is probably pretty high, but not utterly extreme. Yeah, this would be doable. So we don't know how long this is, but just going off of this, it's safe to assume that at least this is probably like a mile again. Yeah, we'll just say at least a mile, 0.3. So let's do some math. So I would say 6 kilometers. It would take at least 6 kilometers. Yeah, I think 6 kilometers probably. Maybe, yeah, at least. This can get done really fast, depending on who. This can get done really fast. It just really depends. Because the problem is, like, we'll call it Mercury Cave. I can't remember what it's called. Because I've traveled through caves before. Caves are annoying because the narrow passages, the stone, underwater water, uneven footing, obviously the darkness. They're not far apart, like, at all. Like even looking at the actual map. Email's right here. Vale would be somewhere right here. Vale's like right here somewhere. Like right here. Vale's right here. You just have this mountain, like slight little mountain range just to climb. And here's the cave that goes right to the Emil Plateau. That's not that far. And again, if you really want to take the scenic route, you'd take this, but this straightforward shot is really simple to get to. I just gotta, again, my math's like off because I just don't have the proper tools right now, but let me think. We'll be doing some more math, don't mind me. Next time when I get back to my duty station, I'll do this a lot easier. I'll do this a lot easier via having my actual tools with me. Because I would print this out and just measure it on stream, but it's difficult just because this is an in-game map, so we don't have the proper markings. Like, I'll bring up an actual like map so people can see it. It's kind of really hard to follow, but you have Jesus Christ. We'll put this in downloads. Give me a moment. Yeah, so usually you have all this to help you out. Like, here's your easting, here's your southing, here's your northing right there. It's a lot easier follow up to use this, but kind of hard using the Golden Sun map. I can do it, but I would actually need my tools. Okay, let me think for a few minutes. No, damn, I was supposed to be doing lore stuff. I was supposed to be doing sprite animation, but here we are. But besides all that, let's carry on. Okay, so we can assume. Let's do Soul Sanctum to let's do the obvious. We'll do Veil to Soul Sanctum. Soul Sanctum's right here. Soul Sanctum is relatively easy. We can assume like you can get to Soul Sanctum in less than 5 minutes, right? Simple enough. We don't need to go that crazy. Soul Sanctum, we're good. Like, that's your first location in game. That's fine. No. This is interesting. This is very interesting. I love doing stuff like this. This is my job. So, all right. So we can say going off of from Veil, number 1, to Soul Sanctum is a 5-minute walk at best. 6-minute walk. We'll say it's 0.5 kilometers. We already said going from Veil to Vault would be 2.5 kilometers. It'd be a lot more accurate if I had my stuff on, because I would actually I'd print this out and I'd be doing it, just doing like everything. Like, we have a special protractor that we use because for example, damn, let's just say I was lost. I don't know where to go in a map. I know Veil is my my hometown. I'm all the way right here. I don't know which direction Veil is, but I do know certain locations. Here's Lupa. Here's my current location, and here is a Vault. I just don't know which direction Veil is. You know that Veil is in the direction of Vault and Lupa. You're looking at a map. You know it's here. You know it's there. You just don't know Veil's right there. This is called Dead Reckoning. You could just walk straight until you find Veil. That's not the way you want to do it, because holy shit, Dead Reckoning is like wild. You don't want to use that. So, to be honest, the best way to do it is just take a point of interest. You head toward that point of interest. The closest point of interest from right here, Goma Cave, would be going to Vault. No, not Vault. So going to Lupa. Here's Lupa. Lupa's a little bit closer. You know Lupa's in the vicinity of Veil. You know Veil's southwest of Lupa. You just go right there. There you go. Instead of YOLOing it all the way over, hoping for the best. You go to the closest point of interest that you know is where, then you go from there. Maps are cool, but they're very hard. But let's do this again. Okay, so we already established that going through math, going from Veil to Vault is about 2.4 kilometers. 30 minutes. 30-minute walk. So this is 2.5 kilometers. Unfortunately, we can't measure it accurately. This seems a little bit longer. This seems a little bit longer. It is longer. This is a 30-minute walk. I would say we're close to doubling it. Yeah, you're lost forever. I've dead reckoning before. It's hilarious. And shit just hits the fan. Dead reckoning is crazy. So much stuff can go wrong when you dead reckon. I don't recommend dead reckoning, like, ever. All right, so this is a little tad bit. This is shorter, so we already know this is 2.4 kilometers via walking for a normal person, not me. I would say this one is closest to 5 to 6 kilometers. We'll round it up. So we'll say this is 3 kilometers, so about 30 minutes. We'll say this is around 6 kilometers. An hour and a half. An hour and 15, at least an hour and 10 minutes to get from Vault to Goma Cave. Yeah, that seems about right. It's just me guesstimating, but that seems definitely about right. Again, we don't know how long it would take to get through a cave, because we're not in the cave. Goma Cave exit would be right here. This is Goma Cave exit. We can argue... Hold on. Point 1. Point 2. This is probably at least maybe 2 kilometers from yay to yay. Because this is close. It's relatively close. Okay, so we could say it would probably take you, depending on how Goma Cave is, we already know how Goma Cave is, maybe 45 minutes to get through Goma Cave, walking 2 kilometers, because we already know going 2.4 kilometers is about 30 minutes, walking at a normal pace. All right, so now is the fun part. Now we get to guesstimate. So here's Vale. Here's Vale. We'll say 3 kilometers, 6 kilometers, 3, 6. So this is about 9 kilometers from here to here. Add another 2. I would say this is at least 14 kilometers. To get from Vale to all the way to Biblin, 14 kilometers. Because again, we already established from here to here is about 2.5 to 3 kilometers, which is about a 30-minute walk. We doubled this to 6 kilometers, so from Vault to Goma Cave would be 6 kilometers, so that's doubled. We'd say it's an hour. So it would take you at least an hour to get from here to here. There you go. If you were in Isaac's shoes, it'd take you an hour to get to... It would take you an hour if you go by the normal progression. It's hard because of here, but we'll guess that it's at least 2 kilometers from here to here. And Billman's right outside of there. So we'll see it's... Yeah, about 8 kilometers to the exit. Yeah, so this is arguably about 2-something hours to get here. You're close to 2 hours to get to Biblin. And not counting encounters and all that fun stuff. Wait, no. Wait, I'm bugging. No, I ain't bugging. Wait a minute, no. Goma Cave exits right here. Yeah, I'm bugging. Sorry. Yeah, Goma Cave exit. Yeah, Goma Cave exit's right there. Oh, you did this in Portuguese. I hate you. Yeah, I'm bugging. Is that it? Yeah, Goma Cave exit would be I need the actual accurate map. I can't remember. I actually can't remember. Fuck it. Because I remember Bibland was super close. This is Bibland, this is Coloma. Yeah. Fuck it. We'll just go with that. I think. I'll bring up Golden Sun to Golden Sun 1's map again. Just to make sure I'm not going crazy. So far, from what we've seen, for the most part, a lot of the stuff is in walking distance. It's where, yeah, I wasn't bugging. It's just this map got fucked up somehow. So this is Coloma. Bibland Cave exits right there. I'll have to fix this later. So we could say this is at least you're walking 2 hours. So from normal progression from this would be like another 30-minute walk. That would be another 30-minute walk. Yeah. Because the barricade's right there. Everything from what I'm seeing right now is at least in a 30-minute walking perspective. It's just right here. Once you start going towards Emil, it's kind of like all over the place. Because from Bibland to Emil, we can safely say that. Let's copy this real quick. We're just gonna copy this little section. We're going to at least 5 kilometers. Like, this is at least 6 miles, 6 to 7 miles. All right, I'm gonna do some math. Give me a second. It's not big. From going off of this, it does not seem like it's that big. I could even argue like it feels like an island to me at times. It really does. But no. Let's do the math real quick again. This is really interesting. Because what's gonna really... Oh, okay. The time is gonna be off because again, we're not accounting for terrain. So the timing is gonna be really, really off, but assuming under normal circumstances, if we were actually walking on a flat terrain, I think like the flattest area would probably be from here to here. We could probably double the times, like even longer. Because like once you get here to Solid Gate, well, to Lumbercamp Desert, That's when like things get really, really crazy. Once I get back, I'll definitely print this out and we'll do some high level mapping, but for the most part, I honestly feel like an hour. I would not be surprised if it would take Isaac's party from here. This would probably take Isaac's party like at least a whole entire day to get here. Probably, if they were consistent in encountering and using encounters with enemies and all that fun stuff, puzzles, a day at best, it'd probably take them to get here. We're assuming, oh God, we would add, damn. I have to factor in time now. I do. I have to factor in time in regards to a lot of all the animations going forward, because this whole entire journey I feel took at least a half a year, to be honest. Because we can assume, because this isn't walking distance. This is at least a 30. This is a 30-minute walk. Just going off what we were doing. 30-minute walk. 30-minute walk. Probably another 45 minutes right here, depending on how long the cave is. Adds another hour or so. It's once you start getting to these big land masses, it's when things start getting like ridiculously crazy, because the average person can walk at least 5 kilometers. I'm assuming 5 kilometers per hour, 3.5 miles per hour. So we'll just do that. 3.5 miles per hour, we can say the average person walks. But I don't know. Hold on. It would be fun. I'm gonna do something real quick. We kind of got derailed, but we're gonna get back to this. And just writing some stuff down for later. Okay. Let's argue for a second. Let's argue. Let's have a quick we're not gonna argue. We're gonna finally put things together here, because we have to figure this out. So, going off of everything that we yapped about, we can assume that I can imagine driving a Crown Vic through there. So Isaac's party, they walked everywhere. They walked everywhere until they got to the end of the first game. So we can guesstimate that if I was a betting man, I would say that it probably took them 2 months walking. Probably 2 months walking. I think Isaac would be that type of person. Again, we don't know, because Isaac is a representation of us. I can assume that Isaac probably 100%ed the game. Can we agree on that? I think Isaac probably most likely did 100%ed Gold Sun 1. We can assume that he probably did. Again, it's up to the player's perspective. So, walking, I feel 60 days, even 80 days at best. Yeah, I feel like Isaac and his party took at least 60 to 80 days walking. Dungeon exploration, because again, we could assume that he went through every single dungeon and did everything. 20 to 30 days. So Again, here's the human factor. We can assume that, oh God, what's even an adept? What's an adept? We can say an adept is a human. So they have to rest. They have to eat like everybody else. But I'm assuming that they're more durable than the average everyday bandit. I can probably see them just continuing pushing forward while taking their rest days. We know Isaac rests because he rests at an inn. But I can see them probably traversing day in and day in. Yeah, like we're the ones who make them rest. But you technically don't have to rest in an inn. You can keep on going. We make the decision to rest at an inn. Okay. So if we're going off the fact that they traveled between 60 to 80 days, half of those days were probably spent exploring dungeons. We can say we'll say they if they took 60 to 80 days, we'll just say they rested at least probably like every other day. So probably 30 days they took the rest. Oh. What about story events? Story events are hard. Story events are very hard because again, this is up to the player. Like a lot of everything in regards to story progression is based on the player themselves. But if we were trying to make this as realistic as possible, we can assume they walked everywhere, they did everything, they took some rest days. They didn't technically they traveled by water once. They traveled by water once, which probably took a day. Story related events probably a day each, because we can assume we know that Soul Sanctum probably took at least half a day to a day, or probably in a few hours. Soul Sanctum probably took a few hours. Mercury Lighthouse probably took a whole entire day because Mercury Lighthouse is massive. Lamarcan Desert, they took a long time in Lamarcan Desert. That's a given because that's the desert. We had a rest day in Colosso because Isaac got knocked out through exhaustion. We can say story progression events probably took a day at least. I don't be honest. I feel Isaac Garrett, the whole entire journey for Golden Sun, I'm gonna argue it took at least a half a year. The thinking here, because everything feels, if it'd make more sense if this took half a year instead of a few weeks, because there's no way this is possible for them to do all this traveling. Yeah, there's, especially in Golden Sun 2, it's like there's no way. There's absolutely no way. There's no way. But we can yap about that later. Like, I knew you said you're supposed to be here for a little bit. I just realized that. We just yapped for like 45 minutes. So let's just do one final rewatch, then we can wrap things up. Because I realized you said you were gonna be here for a little bit. You did. Yeah, we can do a little powwow later about this, but yeah. It's because we have to realize that these characters, at the end of the day, there's so many things happening at once. Traversing the ocean, finding everything that needed to be done in Golden Sun 2. Because the Eastern Sea, I guarantee you, the Eastern Sea probably took at least a couple of probably even more than a month. And again, we're not even discussing how IRL shenanigans could happen. Because IRL shenanigans do happen, because we can assume the boat never broke. The boat is probably a mystical entity. We can assume that. But traversing from the Eastern Sea all the way to Tandaria, all the way back up, all the way from here to there, there's so many things that are happening here. But it's like, these are things I have to do, because as you can see, it's nighttime now. So I'm going off with the fact that a whole entire day has passed by, from Mia going into Mercury Lighthouse, Isaac getting in there, Mercury Lighthouse being lit, into the conclusion of Mercury Lighthouse now. And we're gonna go under the notion that from Mercury all the way up to the outskirts of Lamarkin Desert, it's probably gonna take a week. I think in that last Sprite animation I said that Sarah told Mira that she'll give Mira a week's time to burn down Kalima and the surrounding areas. We'll figure this out. Later on, when I actually get back in a couple weeks, I'll print out the map and we'll do some live calculations. But for the most part, we can assume that this whole entire journey, at least from Golden Sun 1 to Golden Sun 2, half a year at best. At least half a year. We can go off that. But all right, let's wrap it up, because we've been here forever and it's all good. So when I get back to my duty station, we'll do real world calculations more accurately. But we now know from Vale to Vault, it's probably like a 30-minute walk at best. It's 3 kilometers. And going from Vault to Goma Cave, it's kind of doubled that. So it'll be a 6-kilometer walk. Yep. All right. Besides that, everybody take care. Enjoy the VOD. Robert, I'll see you when you stop by again. Besides that,